All right, thanks to you, Mike. And now a conversation that all parents should have with their children and all parents feel probably insecure in having. As we probably know, more than 2/3 of sexual assault victims are children under the age of 18. And by the way, girls are abused twice as often as boys. But there's a man named Jon Holsten who is out to try to stop as much of it as he can. And he spoke to Charlie Gibson about drawing upon his experience as a Colorado police detective and also a father of 5 to create a unique and passionate book, which he published himself, to help parents help their kids stay safe. It's called The Swimsuit Lesson.
Jon, you have a profession that somebody might not suspect for someone who writes a book for children.
Well, I think you get an opportunity to see a lot, and so I think that always plays into a person's life when they choose to maybe write something. It's drawing from some of that experience.
How long had you been working on cases of child abuse for the Fort Collins Police Department?
I worked on them for 3 years, so that was the time frame that I handled those types of cases. Saw dozens and dozens of children who were abused, so it's really took away from that experience a desire to do something good with it.
Hard to take for 3 years looking at these kinds of cases?
Well, I've got 5 kids of my own. You know, a lot of them were victims of the ages of my children, and so that was a difficult thing.
Were there cases that particularly tore you apart?
Well, there are several that I think of. You know, a man who marries a woman who had 2 little girls, who we later learned was for the specific purpose of abusing those little girls, is why he had married her. And so I remember that one. So certainly there are a lot of them that I remember that had a profound impact. What
are the obstacles for children in reporting this kind of thing? Are kids scared? Are they worried about retribution? Do they think they've done something wrong? Charlie, all of the above. I mean, and that's the sad thing, is that perpetrators will use threats. You know, if you tell anybody, I'm going to hurt your family. So these children are scared into not saying anything. And then there's the fear, the shame. And did you find that there is a lack of literature of the kind that you've written? Absolutely. To teach both children and parents about what this crime involves? There's definitely a void. When I did my research, there were books that were for therapists, there were books for adults who had been victims of child sexual abuse, but there was not anything real profound that we could use to work with our children to prevent child sexual abuse. So that's the whole goal of the swimsuit lesson, is to do that. And you come up with a very simple formula, easily understood, which involves a swimming suit. Right. In fact, you know, we have a doll here, but I mean, what we've taught in our family and what I encourage parents to teach is that anything covered by the swimsuit is just off limits. It's just inappropriate for others to touch that part of your body. And so I think it's a very simple and effective way for a child to learn what's right and what's not. In simple terms, you say to a child, anybody who touches any part of your body covered by a swimsuit, you need to take notice and you need to tell us. You need to tell us. In fact, I put that responsibility on the child. You know, there's a lot of times that parents aren't going to know that something is going on. In fact, they typically won't. That's why these things happen, is because parents are unsuspecting. And so, you know, I'm kind of on a crusade, Charlie, to tell parents, you've got to pay attention to this. This is something that can happen to your child, and if you're not careful and don't educate your child about what's appropriate and what's not, you could find yourself in a tragic situation, and we want to avoid that before it ever happens. An important subject, Jon. Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
And we're going to take a break.